Welcome back, everybody, for part 2 of How To Balatro. Hope you enjoyed part 1. It ran a little bit longer, but I wanted to cover as much of the basics as I could. I mean, we went super basic. We talked about hands, discards, shot priority, seeing shops, skipping blinds, like what the screen looks like, what your UI does, how to unlock jokers, things like that. Well, now we are going to go very specifically into jokers for part 2. So the one thing I will say is before you start going real deep into the game and going up in difficulties, you need to open your collection and you need to look in jokers and you need to find if there's easy ones and intermediate ones to unlock, and then start formulating game plans for the really difficult ones to unlock. The 5 legendary jokers here are all RNG. That's all luck. They will randomly appear in a spectral deck, or even potentially an Arcana pack. You will never find a legendary joker in a shop. You'll never find a blind for a legendary joker. Basically, a card will appear that says soul, and that is the soul of one of the 5 legendary jokers. And then everything kind of on this page is really like just, you're gonna find that on the later pages are the more intermediate or expert jokers that have the highest ceiling. And then in the front, you're going to find a bunch. And these little chip icons in the upper right hand corner shows the highest difficulty that you've completed a run with a joker. So as you can see, I have actually gold staked with Wrathful Joker. I don't know how that happened. It must have been a negative joker. I've gold staked with Flush. I've gold staked with 2-pair. I have only gotten to black stake with Sly Joker. I've only gotten to green stake with Joker, the Joker. And then there's tier lists that you can go look up on your own. I am not going to do a tier list. I'm not going to do ranking. I will mention some of my favorites and some of the ones that I've had the most success with, right? Obviously, the 2 goats for me are Brainstorm and Blueprint, which is also known as the coolest Joker, yeah. And obviously, like, 4 of a kind is amazing, right? It'll give you that 4 molt on that. And then there's other multers that have been really, really great, and we'll talk about pairing them at different times. And a lot of these Jokers have different things that they do, right? So if you look at Castle, and you look at, there's another one besides Castle, which is the one that builds chips. I am trying to find it. Hiker. These 2 are examples of jokers that will buff your cards or the joker themselves, but it is a very slow, incremental process. So something like Hiker, something like Constellation, which I have gotten to 8 or 9 times molt getting it early. But these are not jokers that you're going to want to pick up in round 7 and round 8. Another example is Green Joker. I have won so many runs with Green Joker, because if you get it at ante 1 or 2 and you allow it to build over time, it becomes an absolute juggernaut. But these jokers you have to get early, right? Runner is something that you need to get early. But for the most part, I'll tell you some of my favorite jokers when we go into the pairings. Right now, we're going to play a quick run away from Gold Stake first. We will do base difficulty and just go through the organization and what we're looking for in the beginning and how synergy works between them. And then a little bit later, to end the thing, I'll hop into Gold Stake and I'll show you what a joker looks like that's smeared in shit. So let's go base difficulty, blue deck. So I'm actually going to skip and go for a holographic joker here. That's just so I can show what one looks like that has a buff. Okay? There's 3 buffs that can happen to a joker. We call it getting yoked. We call them yokers. So we got 4 of a kind straight out the gate. Throw it at it. Done. Let's go see what this holographic joker is. Now, we didn't get it. I'll open a buffoon pack and we'll get it on the next one. Let's see. Chaos the Clown, 1 free reroll per shop, and Wrathful Joker. This is a pretty good starting one, but it's not really going to get you where you want to go. I'm actually just going to buy this one so I can reroll and see a holographic Joker. So all cards are considered face cards, but it's got a +10 base mult. That is something we can build towards later and stack it and actually build an amazing face card strategy that can still circumvent the boss blind that debuffs bosses. So we'll go ahead and pick that up. Now, the very first thing I feel like I need to communicate when you're starting out the gate is that you want to focus on chips or mult immediately. If you're sitting on one Joker and you chose to get a 3 times mult or 4 times mult, let's say you happen to see the 3 of a kind trio, right, which gives you 3 times mult if you have 3 of a kind in your hand. That is not a viable starting Joker. That is not one that's going to get you there, right? Because if that's your first Joker and you're an ante 2 and you haven't leveled up Full House is still 40 by 4. You times that by 3, you've got 12 mult. Whereas we're already beating that by having 10 mult built into our Joker. So chips take the highest priority. Second is mult when you're getting out of the gate. As you get comfortable and you have, let's say you're rolling with one economics Joker, which we'll get into, and a chip Joker and a mult Joker, then it's time to bring the multers in. If you've ever watched my streams, you know that I've tried to hold on to a 4 of a kind Joker starting in like the second ante, and I crash out because I'm just getting too greedy. So we're going to keep going. We're going to keep seeing some Jokers. Now, the one thing that makes this game the most powerful is Jokers that basically feed off each other. And I'm not talking about the super... Yo, can I get a straight draw here? I'm not talking about the super combos. All right, I'll throw 3 of a kind at you. Oh, it's got to be 5. There are super combos that we will talk about later, and those can range from, again, I think we talked about this in the last video, Hack and Wii Joker. If you've got those two, and you can deck build to make as many copies of 2 as possible, your Wii Joker is going to have between 250 and 500 chips by the time you get to Ante 7. You're just going to be unstoppable. And you got to remember that chips are almost more important than mult, because if you get a Joker like Stuntman that gives you 250 chips, do you know what it would take to get my 10 mult up to 250 mult? So you definitely have to take advantage of the left side of the formula, the left side of what's being multiplied, because chips are easier to get big numbers on. Once you have a 4 of a kind multi-multer, once you've got a Cavendish, once you've got a Timu Dracula who's cooking, then mult becomes very important. But I cannot stress enough, look for chips and mult, and look for things early like Green Joker, Hiker, or Castle that incrementally grow and will allow you to keep succeeding and moving on. So we're going to buy a Magician card. I'm not going to get too much into Planet cards and Tarot cards. That's going to be the 4th video. The 3rd one will be Econ. Here we've got Runner. This is a great time to get Runner. And now I can actually build my deck around straights. So if I wasn't so broke at the moment, I'd go into the jumbo pack and I'd look for straights. But now we kind of have an idea of what we're building our deck towards. So this probably won't be in here for the long haul. We could always pivot, and maybe I'm not doing well with straights and I end up pivoting later. But for now, we're going to stick with that, and we're going to slowly build that boy up. So we're going to throw a straight at it, and I'm gonna yoke up two cards. I'm gonna put them on some trend. Their muscles are getting up. Heart's growing, but that's not a problem. And now we already have 15 chips coming from Runner. So 10 mult coming from that. We already have more chips on a card after 1 proc. So you see the balance. So do not get obsessed with the big numbers, with the big... See, Wrathful Joker has come back, and now we have Even Steven. Even Steven is great because that's going to proc if we're not doing face card runs, which technically right now every card is a face card. This is gonna proc at least 2 to 3 times per straight, right? Oh, I didn't re-roll there. We have another straight draw. We can throw that. We can try one more time. One more time. Come on. Nope, you're not gonna give it to me. Let's see what comes up from here. Jesus, you do not want to give me the straight draw. All right. We will. The jack is not coming. Yo, holy shit! This is what you call bad luck. I must have 4 jacks sitting in the deck. Remaining 4 jacks. Everything else is like gone to shit. So we're gonna get the jack here. Mathematically, we have to. And we're gonna make the straight. Oh, we somehow won. Now, as you can tell, there are jokers that proc on specific hands. There are jokers that proc contingent on what individual cards you're playing. There are jokers that give you some kind of effect, give you some kind of buff. And then there's jokers that do small little cosmetic, or not cosmetic, small little like operational bonuses, like creating free rerolls. There are ones that add discards. Here it is. So now, discards at 3. The second this hits, your discards are now up at 4. So there are jokers that help out with hands and discards. We have not been able to find an econ joker yet. And that is where we need to hopefully pull something soon. Because I can get rid of the reroll joker, right? It helped us a couple times. But we always want to carry 1 econ joker until at least ante 4 or ante 5. I'll explain this in the next video. But with money in this game, poverty's a loop. You never want to get caught in that loop. Now, the other thing too is the order of your jokers are imperative. So if you have a molter, if you have a joker like Cavendish, like Constellation, that is adding a multiplicative value to your molt, you want it at the end because you want all of the other molt to be calculated before it hits the big one. And if you leave a molter sitting in the middle or the beginning, you are cutting your legs off in terms of being able to score. There's also some other jokers that are like Blueprint that copies Coolest Joker. Well, yeah, that copies the Joker to the right. There is Brainstorm that copies the Joker all the way to the left. You will also find yourself moving jokers from time to time, right? So maybe you have an econ joker and a killer score joker. So you move Blueprint over to the scoring joker, and when you know you're going to win on your next hand, you might move Blueprint over to the econ joker so your final hand gets you extra money. So you are constantly going to be moving your jokers around. Do not get comfortable with where they are, and never settle for being lazy and not moving your Blueprint around, not moving your Brainstorm around. Ones that are based on location. Yeah, I'm just going to discard all these real quick. See, I messing with face cards, it's just like I'm not going to proc even Steven, but it's not the end of the world. I guess I'll... Ugh, this is ugly. This is bowling shoe ugly. Man, I am not having any luck with straights today, so now I got to throw 2 pair at it. And no even Steven here, as you can see. And I also was not able to proc runner. Whereas if I throw 3 10s, you're going to watch this click 1, 2, 3. That gave me extra molt because this is a joker that is a individual card buffer. We love Odd Todd. Unfortunately, Odd Todd and Even Steven, they essentially do the same thing. And there's just too much, we need other options. Misprint, if you've ever watched my streams, Misprint is the bane of my existence. It is something that has led me to many a loss because I will pull a 0 molt and then a 2 molt from it when I need to hit big. So I personally want to take luck out of the equation as much as possible. As you can see with all my jokers, I am in full control of what they're doing and how they're scoring. I do not want to settle for something that is luck based. When you get to gold stake, there's going to be enough luck that is required that you're not going to want to jeopardize it at all with anything additional. So we're going to go with 4 of a kind here. I will yoke up 2 3s. They've been in the gym. They're looking a little sexier. They got their summer bodies going. That was up 1,400. We're going to fish for a straight real quick, and if we can't get it, we'll just throw the lucky ace out. A jack. There we go. So now you're going to see that the 10 will proc even Steven. The straight will proc runner. And this is not helping us at all. We're just carrying it because it's a good place for molt right now. So there's going to be a lot of playing. There's going to be a lot of jokers that you will not appreciate at first. If I can name one joker that people do not appreciate enough, it is Green Joker. Green Joker is incredible. Better than Ride the Bus, although Ride the Bus can be used well also. So we're actually going to pick up Popcorn. Thinking about pivoting away from runner, but we're gonna jump to something anyway. So the most important things that you have to remember is balance. You want to have at the very least a joker that's contributing to your chips, a joker that's contributing to your molt, and a econ joker up until about ante 5 or 6. You want a molter a little bit later on. That's going to be your 3rd or 4th joker, because again, don't get really excited to see something early that you're going to have to win with in ante 8, because you got to get to ante 8. And I make that mistake all the time where I get cocky, right? And I'm like, oh, I can grab this 4 of a kind joker now and I can make this shit work. And you know what? Spoiler alert, I don't make that shit work and I'm losing at ante 3. The last thing, besides unlocking all your jokers, is the power of Gros Michel. Gros Michel, and we'll see if we can pull it. So here's a couple of examples. So, last thing I didn't mention. Jokers have a rarity level. So they're common, uncommon, and rare. So I've pulled a rare joker, which can be kind of good. I like Ancient Joker sometimes if I can play towards it, if I've got flush 5s going and I can really manipulate it. An Abstract Joker is kind of like Mr. Reliable, right? It's like, as long as you've got full jokers, he'll just give you 15 mult. He's a little, he looks like the LSD just kicked in, but he's very reliable. Gros Michel, see, we got Hack, which goes amazing with Rejoker, with Walkie Talkie, and there's no joker that procs 5s. Fibonacci procs 2, 3s, and 5s. So you pair these two, and we'll get into pairings later. That is amazing. There is the only joker I can think of off the top of my head that it has to be destroyed to get its superpower is Gros Michel. Gros Michel is a banana that gives you 15 mult. And once it goes extinct, you can now get to appear Cavendish. So I'll show you. So the old banana and the tailpipe, which has never made it past blue stake for me because I need that bitch to break every time. Because when Gros Michel breaks, then you get Cavendish that can now appear in the shops and in your buffoon packs. This is just so good. And the last thing I'll say is there are some jokers. Just go through and watch some of my previous videos. Watch kind of how I balance the jokers and how I make some, like, if I get Vagabond in the first ante, I'm off to the races. I'm going to have to keep my econ at a level, but that is generating tarot cards. Rocket is, in my opinion, the number 1 econ joker early. It's not really good if you're 4 or 5 antes in, very similar to Green Joker. Obelisk is actually a joker that I might create a solid video for on its own, because if you know how to use it and you can get it set up properly, that thing fucking slaps. It's always in the bottom tier. And I don't understand why. And I think what it is people don't pivot from full house to four of a kind or five of a kind. You run 20 full houses, and then you pivot to four of a kind as your primary hand. All of a sudden, this thing is gaining, it becomes a multi-multi an infinite perpetuity, right? So the only advice that I can give you is just play around with them and know that most of these jokers are awesome if you can know how to use them. This Midas Mask goes amazingly with Timu Dracula. Gift card, I will pick up early every single time for two reasons. One, yes, it's increasing the sell value of your jokers, but it makes your Temperance tarot cards go nuclear. If you're getting $40, $50, $60 on every Temperance card, Econ's not a problem for you, and you no longer need to carry an Econ Joker. So this is technically an Econ Joker, but it isn't helping you in the immediate. It's a little bit down the road. So I think that goes into everything. The last thing that I can mention is that there are, where here would be the Joker enhancements. I don't know where they are, but there are 3 buffs to the actual Jokers. There's holographic, and that gives you right here plus 10 molt. There is foil, which gives you plus 50 chips, which is probably my favorite one. Foil is by far my favorite because it's the highest, it's the most consistent. This 10 molt is okay. It rocks if you have a molter and you're now timesing that by 3, but foil is kind of idiot proof. It just gives you 50 chips every single time you play that Joker. And then there is a way to make a Joker, what is the name? It is, I really wish we could see it. You can add 1.5 molt to a Joker, which is, in theory, it's a nice buff. I prefer foil because, again, foil is a little bit less contingent on the Jokers that you have, and it's more just like a face roll. You're going to get like permanent additions to it, right? So I skipped that blind. I got investment tag. I got a lot of money now. They're trying to give me the I got a lot of cheese award. And so we bought that. And then there's different ones, right? Blue Joker is a great, solid chip Joker. And we'd slot that in here. I have rocked Astronomer many a times as a filler to be able to make planet cards free. So I hope that's explained most of it. The last 2 minutes that I'm going to do is show you the third gate of hell, which is gold stake. So let's complete a run real quick. And then I will show you when you get to the highest of high difficulties, what will be your biggest impediments and why a lot of times it's called the speed bump or the wall. Getting past ante 2 or 3 are so difficult. So you can have infinite Jokers. You can have, well, they're called eternal. You can have, and I'll tell you right here, right? So this one's uncommon, eternal. This one's eternal, and it's a rental. So now you are stuck with this Joker forever. There is not a single thing in the game you can do to make that Joker go away. No spectral card is going to eliminate it. No other Joker is going to eliminate it. So if you pick up an eternal Joker, you better be down to carry that bitch the whole way. It's just, and that's what I mean when it's smeared in shit, right? Like even Steven is a great Joker. Even Steven is not something I would pick up as eternal because we don't know what we're building towards in the future. And then on top of that, you're going to cost me $3 a round as well? It's unlovable. And unless it changes, unless it goes to therapy, unless it figures out how to become more, I don't want to say attractive, but more, compelling or charming, I just got to leave his ass in the shop. And the last thing I'll do is I'll open a Buffoon pack. We got a Gross Michel. Amazing. These are 2 of the best Jokers to get in Ante 1. These are God tier Jokers in Ante 1. And you best believe that I'm going to do whatever I can to carry these and pay for them. So I'll run one more round so you can see how this works. So let's see, I'll get rid of this. Get rid of this. There we go. We've got a full house. So this is going to give me plus 15 molt right out the gate. It's safe. It did not break. I want this Joker, usually, unless it's the only one that's carrying me, I want that Joker to break as soon as possible because that unlocks its super form. It goes Super Saiyan, right? It's like, right now it's Pikachu, right? And then when it explodes into a beautiful, sexy Raichu, right? The last Jokers here are timed Jokers. As you can see on the left here, you can see one free reroll per shop, and if you look at perishable, it lasts for 5 rounds. Now the good thing is you can use it up until it deactivates, and you can still get its full sell value. So you don't need to sell it at round one remaining or 2 remaining, for fear that you're not going to get anything back from it. You will get the full sale value. I'm trying to think if there's anything else from Jokers. Truthfully, just the best way that you're going to acclimate yourself to this is just play. Play, and do not pick the same 10 or 12 Jokers every time you play because you're comfortable with them, because you fully understand them. Take advantage and play some of the best Jokers that we have in the game, right? Like, I know I've said Wii Joker a lot, but Wii Joker gets no love. Runner gets no love. Green Joker doesn't need a glow up. That damn thing is a glow up if you get it at ante 1. So just go outside the box, play with Jokers, play with their synergy, and figure out what goes well together. I hope that this video was able to help you understand the basics of Jokers. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can scroll down and you can see all the different decks I've done, and you can see some funky combinations. I have ran Green Joker and Supernova with a high card build to beat a gold stake. Because if you can just, the last piece of advice I'll give you is wait till you get the Joker that can be built around and build around it. Gros Michel cannot be built around. It doesn't help any specific hands or any specific cards. But once you pull a Joker that buffs based on cards or buffs based on hands, you can now start utilizing standard packs and tarot cards to fix and build the perfect deck. There have been times where I have 70 cards in my deck. There are times where I've had 15 cards in my deck. It is all based on what you feel you need to do to be the most successful. On that note, we're going to wrap up this video here. It was about 20 minutes less than my first video, and the next video in line will be about Econ. Thank you for watching. I hope these are helping. And if there's anything I missed, please feel free to just leave a comment below and help other people out. If you want to troll me too, that's fine, but that's not really doing anything. We're all here to just either fall in love or build our love for this wonderful game. I'll see y'all next time. Take care of yourselves.